Hey guys, my name is Rob Trent. I'm a DP based out of Orange County in LA. And today we're going to be talking about a big investment that I made into my company, why I bought what I did, and how it's affected my company over the last 3 months. So let's get into it. This whole thing started December of last year. I had just come off a few shoots with my friend and my mentor, Griffin Conway, and I wanted to know what would make me a better DP, what would make me more hireable, just what would make me better at my job. So I sent him a text and asked him what would make me those things to him, what would make me more hireable, what would make me a better DP, what things did he look for in a DP before he hired one. So after a week or so, we jumped on a call, and one of the big things that Griffin said to me was, what are you going to specialize in? What makes you the guy that every time people say, oh, I want a guy that's really good at this? How are you going to be that guy? What is it going to be for you? He walked me through a few examples, and one of them was a shoot we had just come off of. They hired a DP, and one of the main reasons they hired him was because he owned his own gear and because he was a Movi op. So I decided to take a look at the Movi, see how much it cost, if I could swing it, and what it meant to be a Movi op. And that's where it all started. So after this conversation, I was like, okay, so what would it take for me to be a Movi op? What does that even mean? And I feel like at the level I was at, I was thinking just I don't even know what a Movi is. I know what an RS2 is and a Zhiyun crane is, but other than that, I don't know about these other gimbals. So I started doing some research, and one of the first things I realized was just how much more robust the Movi was than, any of the stick gimbals or any of the kind of consumer level gimbals like the RS2. It has DTAP ports, it has COM ports for focus motors, and it has red control for DSMC2. It has way higher payload, has support behind it. It's all these things that just make it the next level of gimbal. And also I figured out that people's careers are based around being a Movi op. I've never heard anyone say oh yeah, I'm an RS2 op. It's always either I'm a Movi op or I'm a Ronin op or I'm whatever. Usually if you have a Movi XL, you're kind of in the next, you've moved on. So it's different. It's you can have a career based off of it, and that really interested me. Also, it looked super cool, and I was like, it's kind of sick. Let's see if I can get into this thing. So at first I looked at the Movi Pro brand new from FreeFly, and they're about $8,000, which was super not in my budget, at all. And so that kind of was discouraging, and I didn't even think about buying used until my dad was like, well, can you just buy one used? And I was like, oh, dude, great idea. So I looked at used Movies, and I ended up getting my Movi Pro for about $4,000. So it's about half the price of a brand new one. And I decided that was worth it for me, and I thought that I could swing it. So I bought my Movi, and before I even had my Movi, I already even sent the money. I started telling people that I was meeting that I was a Movi op just because I needed gigs to pay off the Movi. So I started telling people I was a Movi op, and gigs started coming in, and I had just gotten the Movi, and I was like, okay, cool. So I did my first few gigs, and I was renting ready rigs or easy rigs, whatever I could get my hands on, because when a Movi is fully rigged out, you're looking at anything from 15 to 35 pounds. So the lightest you're going to get is a C70 on there, and just the ring, no tear decks, no monitors, nothing. And it's going to be probably 15 to 18 pounds. Whereas you start putting a mini LF on there or any of the DSMC2 bodies from Red, you start getting up into those ranges. You put a big lens on it, you're looking at 30 pounds. So I had to get a gimbal support. So I went ahead and bought a ready rig, and I bought that used again, and that cost me about another $2,000. So I would say all in, to be a Movi op, I'm about $7,500 in, including, just batteries and chargers and little accessories you need to make it work. I would say I'm about $7,500 in. So that's $7,500 out of my business that I could have spent on other things I could have paid my rent with. So let's break down kind of why I decided it worked for my company and my position. Number one is marketing. For me, saying I was a Movi op and that I owned my own gear gave me a lot more credibility when I was talking to people. Take, for example, if I'm talking to another DP, I'm a DP myself, so he doesn't really have a huge use for me But when I say, oh, I'm a Movi op, and I say it confidently, and even though I've only had my Movi for 2 months, it is like 9 out of 10 times that DP is getting my phone number or getting my Instagram and saying, oh my gosh, like I constantly need Movi on these productions that I'm doing. So this is an awesome connection. And a lot of them have come to fruition and gotten me a lot of work. So that's number one, is credibility and marketing. Number two is going to be day rate. And I don't want to talk specifics about day rates on the internet, but it was a big bump in day rate for me when I could say that I'm a Movi op and that I have my own gear. So you're adding my skill on top of the rental for the Movi. So that was a big bump for me. Now, if you're already around $1,000 a day, then you're probably not going to get like a huge bump out of it unless you are also flying a Red Monstro, or, you know, you have these bunch of other gear that is going to go on the Movi, then maybe you are. Or if you can specialize in like car rigs or something like that, then maybe you can. But for me, it was a big bump and just a lot more work in general from the Movi. So that was a big point that helped my business and made it worth it. Number three is going to be client optics. So this is a really important one to me because I've seen what it's capable of doing. And so like take, for example, showing up to a set with an A7S III or showing up to a set with a C300 Mark III. So both of those cameras are essentially going to do the same job. They have similar enough dynamic range. They have similar enough capabilities. But the thing is you're showing up to, and not to hate on the A7S III, it's like an incredible camera. I just told my friend to buy one, even though he has a C70 already. They're like awesome. But the thing is that you're showing up with a small DSLR versus a big camera with a V-mount on the back that looks like a cinema camera. So client optics is huge, and the same thing applies to the Movi. I would even say more, because you know, you show up to set with an RS2 on the stick, people aren't that impressed. It's like, okay, but when you show up with a Movi Pro, you have your ready rig on. Clients literally like want to take pictures with you. They want to take pictures of the gear. They're asking you what it is. They're asking you how much it weighs. They're like, oh my gosh, that thing looks so heavy. And you're sitting over there like carrying 2 pounds because you have a ready rig on. You're like, yeah, totally. It's just all about the client optics, and the production companies that I've worked with it have really loved how the clients react, what the clients think. It makes the clients feel like they're on this huge production, like they're super important. Even if their production is small, the Movi kind of makes them feel like they're in Hollywood. So client optics has been huge for me, and also optics from the outside of people that maybe don't know what a Movi is, or other filmmakers that are super interested. It just gives you more credibility from the outside looking in. Number four is footage quality. I kind of put this lower on the list because, let's be honest, like a lot of shots, basic shots you can get with an RS2 or an RSC, whatever you have that's a smaller gimbal, is gonna do the job. But one thing I've noticed coming from those gimbals is the quality of footage just is better. It's more smooth. There's more power in the motors to carry heavier cameras, heavier payloads, and the footage just, it does look better. Now, I'm not saying anyone can just go out, pick up a Movi and have like completely butter footage. Even after a few months of Movi opping multiple times a week, I wouldn't say that my footage is always completely butter, but looking at guys like Ben Hess, if you don't follow Ben Hess, you should, because he posts a lot of cool things. But it takes a while to get used to the Movi, but the footage overall just is more smooth. Number five is going to be flexibility. So the Movi has allowed me to take gigs, everything from handheld to car rigs, putting it on a black arm on the back, to shooting from boat to boat for a police department at 30 knots. Like it just has the flexibility to do all these different things because of the support system that's behind it. I think from conception, like there's all these things that FreeFly has built that allow it to do these things, like the toad in the hole and the Ninja Star that allow you to mount it to a black arm. That just is a standard thing that this connects to. Okay, you're good to go. It also allows you to connect to, jibs or whatever you want to do, that can do it. So that, just allows you to have so much more flexibility. And also there's a huge third-party market for it from like Ignite Digi and CineMilled and all these other companies that make like incredible products just for the Movi Pro, because they realize it's a professional thing to have and it needs support and needs new features all the time because people are constantly trying to upgrade. Other than just upgrading the Movi itself, there are also external or other upgrades for the Movi, like the Movi controller. Allows you to have a professional and like exact control of the Movi when it's somewhere else, if it's remote, if it's on a drone. It has, professional mounts, professional battery solutions, all these things that just make it feel more like a tool that's meant for the job instead of a tool that you're just kind of making work for the job. So that's been my other favorite thing about the Movi, is just how professional it is, how easy it makes things, because of its professional solutions like D-Tap everywhere on the Movi. There's 3 D-Taps that you can use that just make things easier, make your cable management easier, and allow you to run more accessories or more necessary things on your Movi. So purchasing the Movi Pro allowed me to gain a lot more credibility, and I feel like brought my work to the next level. It allowed me to work on bigger and more professional sets in different environments where I could learn more, and made me more money, which, I'm not going to turn that down. So, but I've been super happy with my Movi Pro and the things that it's done for me and my business. And I hope that this gave you some insight into what your next step could be, and if it's, kind of worth it to do in this day and age when the Movi is getting older and older every day. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you guys want more Movi content, because I'm definitely planning on doing it. Definitely doing more specialized content, like how to mount it to a black arm and other things like that I hope you guys will be interested in seeing. Even if you're not interested in the Movi, I hope it gives you a cool look into what it looks like on set and what it does, what I'm doing with it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you later. Peace.